Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I remember this actually been a few times now that I've been speaking to people about religion and they say, oh, I'm Christian, or they say I'm Catholic, or whatever the case is. And then when I speak to them about the concept of reward or punishment, heaven and hell, a few times I've had people say, I don't believe in hell. And I'm usually a little bit confused by that because I'm like, but I'm pretty sure hell is talked about, like Jesus mentions, a lake of fire and like the idea of a punishment. It's in the Bible. They're like, no, well, I don't really believe that it's literal. I don't believe that it's real. Maybe, whatever. They have their own explanation, their own way of getting around it. But ultimately they say, I don't believe in hell. And so oftentimes what I'll do is I'll say, okay, cool. What if you right now, you're a really nice guy to me, you're really polite to me, you're being very kind and forthright with me. What if I decided to, pull out a weapon and just shoot everybody in this whole area, right? And then shoot myself in the head, let's say, right after that. What's going to happen to us on Judgment Day? Are you telling me that we're going to go to the same place? And I remember one guy, he goes, well, you have to repent. I go, yeah, but what if I didn't repent? What if it was the greatest moment of my life? I enjoyed it like crazy. I thought it was the funnest thing ever. So I didn't repent at all. I was in fact proud of it. What then? Do we all go to heaven together? Do we all go to the same place? Is that just? Is that right? And he goes, well, no, you'd have to go somewhere else. And I go, somewhere else? You mean like somewhere worse? He's like, well, yeah. You mean like a punishment? Yeah. You mean like hell? And to me, it was really funny to watch how people sometimes don't really think about the natural conclusion of their own belief system. It's very odd to me that sometimes people say, this is what I believe, and then all you have to do is scratch the surface a little bit and say, okay, well, what is the conclusion of that? And then they realize, oh, that's not making any sense. I don't believe in hell. Oh, but I do think good people should go to heaven. Well, what about bad people? Well, they should go somewhere else, somewhere worse, somewhere like a punishment. So, ultimately, you're somewhat describing the concept of hell. Anyhow, you might be wording it slightly differently, but it's ultimately the same thing. I think this is really important in Daawah, that when people make statements, you examine them, you ask them, you dig a little bit deeper. I remember there was also a few times where somebody said, oh, I believe in reincarnation. That the universe is on some sort of a cycle, just keeps on, expanding and contracting, and that, we're just living this cycle over and over and over again. And so I asked this person, I said, okay, so how many times has this happened already? And how many times will it continue to happen? And they're like, infinite. I'm like, so we've had this conversation an infinite amount of times, and every variation of this conversation an infinite amount of times. So, and we will continue to have this conversation and slight variations of it for an infinite amount of times. And that's it, we're just stuck in this loop. Is that what you're saying? He's like, well, I guess so. I'm like, are you making this up as you go along? and so slowly but surely he realized, yeah, he didn't really know what he was talking about. I was like, where are you getting this from? Where is this belief coming from? And this is, I think, something very, very crucial in Daawah. That when people make statements about, oh, I believe in an afterlife, let's say, but only a good one, like only heaven. Or I believe in an afterlife, but it's just the same life over and over and over again. You have to just scratch underneath the surface a little bit, show a little bit of curiosity, ask a few questions, and you'll very quickly find that a lot of people haven't given it much thought. And I think, again, this is a really important, crucial job and role of the Muslim. It's to ask these questions, to help people navigate their own mind, their own beliefs, allow them to come to the conclusion that they're not really taking their faith very seriously, they're not really thinking about it very deeply, and that ultimately Islam offers the solution. Islam offers something that makes more sense, that is more evidence-based, that is grounded, and that is beautiful. And so may Allah Ta'ala make us of those who can ask the right questions and can help people as they grow in their journey of learning about themselves, their faith, and ultimately the truth. Jazakallah khair, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.